If privilege is your norm, then equality feels like oppression. Or when all you've known is representation, diversity feels like oppression. And a lot of you guys are showing that. Hi, you guys. My name is Cherita. Welcome to my channel where we discuss the problem and come up with a solution. Cue the intro. Just joking. I still don't have an intro. But now you know what my channel is about. So today I'm going to be discussing the audacity of some people to try to call out Juvia's place for not being inclusive. Woo, chili, the ghetto. So, I was on Twitter, per usual, and I came across this tweet by GadgetBeats30, and she tweeted something along the lines of, I can't believe you guys are complaining about there not being enough light shades in the new Juvia's Place foundation launch. If you do not know, Juvia's Place is a makeup company that caters towards Black people and people of color. Now, why does there have to be such a company? Well, because nobody else is doing it. We've seen the foundation shades that are non-inclusive, such as Tarte, such as It Cosmetics, and even certain MLMs, such as Unique. We've seen it happen. And when people complain or bring light to the situation that, hey, this brand, along with a bunch of others, they do not give the range catered towards people of color and mainly Black people. Now the tables have turned. And I use that in quotations because this launch that Juvia's Place did, I believe it's like 42 shades. And what I really like about it is they followed in the steps of Beauty Bakery and they started with the dark shades first. So all of my melanin infused people, you guys, we're no longer the 400s and the 800s and the 700s. We are now shade 100, shade 200. Like, it may not seem like a big deal to everybody else, but it's a huge deal. You know why? Because people of color and Black people, we were thought of first. So anyways, back to what I was saying. So like I said, Juvia's Place is made for people of color, not made for, but that's where a lot of their customers come from the background of being a person of color or a Black person. So now we have people that are complaining because this one brand out of how many makeup brands? How long has makeup been around? This one brand doesn't have enough light shades, which I will get to in a second. Now people want to complain. But what about what? Because people were thinking about you long before they were thinking about us. And what happens is a company will come out with a foundation line or a concealer line or something that requires multiple shades. A lot of people of color and Black people are left out. They have like maybe 2 or 3 shades. And then when Black people bring it to the attention of the masses, what do people say? You guys will be fine. Just give them a chance to expand their range. And then when we say things like, okay, well, why don't you just hire a Black person or a person of color so that we can help expand the line, then they're like, no, we don't need you guys. We've got it. So then what do Black people do? They start their own line. And when they start their own line, then white people want to scream. That's racist. What if it were the other way around? Well, honey, let me tell you something. It's always the other way around. Always. So there's that. And if you guys don't believe me, I'm gonna show you the screenshots. So, like I said, GadgetBeat had posted the Trend Mood Instagram, and I guess that's where all of the negative comments were because, I tried looking on Twitter. I'm not an Instagram type person. I tried looking on Twitter. I tried looking on Facebook. I tried looking on Reddit, Lipstick Alley. Like, I looked high and low for people that were complaining, but all of the complaints were coming from Instagram. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go through these screenshots We're going to go through these comments and we're going to talk about them because they tried it. They tried it. So we're going to start with this first comment. I kind of touched on it already, but I just want you guys to see that people are out here really saying these things. It isn't. But just as people complain when there's not enough shades for them, I feel like I can complain too when a brand does that for me. I mean, if this was the other way around, all hell would break loose. Again, this happens whenever anybody puts out a crappy shade range. So all hell will break loose? Yes, because hell has broken loose and it is continued to be loose. So I don't understand what you're trying to say. So yeah, you can, like, honestly, you have no right to complain about this one company that doesn't have your shade range or doesn't have your shade. And to be completely honest, actually, let's look at the shades. Let's go ahead and look at all 42 of these shades. Okay, so I'm looking at the last 12 shades. It feels so weird to say the last 12 because the last are usually always the darkest, but not in this case. So I'm looking at the last 12 shades. It's light and very light. And I'm looking and I see a lot of different light and very light shades. But within these light and very light shades, there's a lot of different ethnicities. And I think that's where people are getting confused because I feel like there's a white person that is a shade between light and very light. There's not just one specific ethnicity that caters to, you know, let's pick a shade range. Okay, shade number 610. The person shown is not a white person, but there is a white person who has that skin tone. Just because the person shown doesn't have blonde hair or brunette hair or green eyes or hazel eyes doesn't mean that that shade range is specific to that ethnicity. And I feel like that's where we've lost a lot of people. And I could be wrong because, again, I'm not white, so I don't know. But all I know is I see in the dark, and deepest dark, I see a shade for all of my cousins, all of my aunts, all of my uncles, all of my Black friends. I see a shade. So again, I could be wrong, but this company right here is about including people of color. And to be honest, the fact that there are so many light shades within this company proves that we can be inclusive to all shades. Like, I don't see a problem with the shade range. And there's actually a lot of people who are for us saying that, hey, we can literally go to any other company and our shade will be there. So how about we uplift our Black people and our people of color? Like, it's not a terrible thing. And for the people saying, well, inclusion means everybody. I want you to have that same energy when a Black person tells you, hey, this shade range is not good enough. I want you guys to have the same energy because I got so much crap about my Jeffree Star concealer. Well, he has room to expand. He has room to expand. Okay. Everybody has room to expand, but me as a Black person did not feel represented with his concealer shade range. Did not. And that's me talking. So when somebody tells you, do not try to invalidate their feelings. And then, of course, we have, the people that are like, I'm ghostly white. I'm milk white. I'm as pale can be. And they don't have my color. Go work for their brand. I don't know what to tell you. I honestly don't know what to tell you. Because how you feel is how Black people feel all the time. We have to go out and make our own stuff. But the minute we make our own stuff, it's racist. No, it's not racist. Y'all don't want to do it for us, so we're going to do it for ourselves. Sorry. It reminds me of like I don't know if there's like an actual quote, but it just reminds me of when people say things like, if privilege is your norm, then equality feels like oppression. Or when all you've known is representation, diversity feels like oppression. And a lot of you guys are showing that. But what about? Okay, did you have that same energy when people were coming out with all these terrible shade ranges? And when we would tell you that this ain't it, what would you guys say? You guys wouldn't say anything because, well, you were included. So let's just keep the same energy and let's say that, yes, this is an amazing shade range. This is like, they've got 42 shades. I feel like they've hit all skin tones and all undertones. But of course, like not every single person is going to have their exact same shade because there's not 42 shades in the human race. There's way, way, way more than that. There's different shades. There's different undertones. But this is a great start. I mean, without Rihanna, I don't know where we would be. We would still be people of color telling you guys where are our shades and other people telling us, well, they have time to expand. So we just have to sit barefaced. We can't try it. We have to wait. Why do we have to wait? That's not how it should be. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a couple of these other ridiculous comments. So this person said, nah, this is a world upside down. Almost no real light shades. And then somebody said, go to another brand. I mean, you guys have 1 billion different brands to choose from. Can we please have something that's ours that still includes you guys? And then somebody else said, so why is the world upside down when brands have been doing it the other way around for years and are still doing it? So again, people only are offended when it affects them directly. And we're seeing it. Then you have people who were just tired of hearing people complain. And this one woman said, any other makeup brand has 50 shades of beige and 5 deep dark shades. Go cry somewhere else. And, that opened up conversation and other people were saying things like, thank you, like us have this moment because I'm tired of not having my shade or correct undertone either. Another person chimed in and said, I honestly don't get why fair-skinned people are complaining. There are several other brands that have our shades. It's great to see that Juvia's place is catering to those who have trouble finding their perfect match. And I get it. Not every single company can do every single thing. However, let brown people and black people and people of color have something without you chiming in about, but what if, but what if, but what if? It's always what if. I promise you, it's always what if. That's why we have to constantly make our own things, because when we try to tell you, hey, this ain't it, you're just being too sensitive. Okay, well, I'm going to make my own and I'm going to exclude you. Well, then that's not fair. What? Make up your mind, please. Yep. And then here's the last one. I was just like people can't really be thinking this because it just honestly doesn't make sense. And if they've never heard of people of color complaining, then that is the epitome of privilege and they need to step outside their bubble. So I'm all for representation of all races, but when people of color say that this is the best shade range ever and go find another brand to light people, that is just not right. If we want to get somewhere in the fact that everyone should be represented equally, then it's not right that people of color are praising the fact that there's only 5 white shades. This ain't it. Again, I feel like there's way more than 5 light shades. I mean, there's 6 very light and 6 light. Again, I can tell you, out of all those 12 shades, I feel like white people can fit into all 12 of those shades. That's 12 more shades than some other brands put out when it comes to people of color. They want to give us 2 or 3 shades. All right, try to find something. They gave you 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 shades. But somehow that's still not good enough. And then this person, in response to that last tweet or Instagram, whatever, I'm assuming everyone complaining about the light shades are just trying to get attention because this shade range looks amazing. People always complain if a brand doesn't release foundation shades catering to people of color, but Juvia's Place did, and people still complain even though they can easily find their foundation shade in plenty of other places. And that's the true tea. You can go to any drugstore, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Rite Aid, you can go to Walgreens, and you know you're going to find your color. People of color, if they live in a rural neighborhood, if they don't live in an urban neighborhood, if they live in a place where there's, like majority white people or non-black people, they step in stores hoping that their shade range is there. Let me guess, you're going to tell me, drive 45 minutes out of my way to an urban area? No, sorry, not doing it. I should be able to drive up to my local store, my local Walgreens, walk right in, and know that I'm going to get my shade. And I know there's going to be white people, well, I live in an urban area and I have to do this and I have to do that. Yeah, but you're one out of how many? This is worldwide. This has to do with society. I'm not talking about just a neighborhood. This is how it is all over the world. So, I mean, y'all tried it. You guys really tried it. Like, you guys tried. I don't know if you were trying to cancel Juvia's Place. I don't know what you were trying to do, but whatever you were trying to do, it was not it. Because that is a shade range that multiple people can get behind. And I appreciate the non-people of color who came in and were, stepped in and was like, listen, for you to try to say this ain't it. Just let our fellow, women of color, just let them shine. Let them have their moment. And I appreciate that. And it sucks because I should not have to appreciate people for being decent human beings in 2019. But here I am thanking people for stepping up and saying, hey, let them be represented. And not only were Black people represented, but so were lighter people, and so were white people. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's have a beautiful conversation down below in the comments. Again, what was the moral? What did we come up with? We just need to make sure that everybody is represented. And if there's a brand out there and they don't have a good enough shade range, don't purchase from them. Or send in a lot of complaints. Listen to people when they tell you that the shade range is not good enough. That's how we can come together. That's the solution. That's the solution that we can come up with together. Hire Black people. Work with Black people. Because you need somebody to tell you, sorry. I thought I was ending this. I'm not. Who was on Unique's line? Who made that foundation line? Because there were 3 out of the 12. 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 shades for Black people. And it wasn't even it was like a light-skinned Black person, a medium-skinned Black person, and then a dark-skinned, Black person. That's all it was. There was nothing in between. But you had light, medium light, beige, neutral beige, medium beige, beige, dark beige, but then it was like, ooh, let's just throw in these last 3 so that we don't seem, like we're keeping them out of the loop. Because Black people don't work for Unique. They should have brought somebody on to be like, hey, is this good enough? because white people cannot tell Black people if it's good enough, just like Black people can't tell white people if it's good enough. Just pointing it out. We need more diversity everywhere, not just people wearing it. We need people creating the formulas. We need people working for, we need different people working for these companies. And people just need to stop using their privilege for power, or power for privilege, or whatever, however you want to put it. We just need to stop. Let me know what you think about the shade range. I personally think it's amazing. I feel like it's along the same lines as Fenty. But again, perspective is everything. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. Do not forget to click subscribe to stay up with the latest pop culture and YouTube drama and just everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until my next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.